So the Givenchy Gentlemen line, they make some damn good fragrances. You know, I haven't tried them all. I consider Gentlemen only and Gentlemen. I know they're two separate lines, but they're kind of the same. They share the same bottle. So it's kind of up for debate. But as far as the Gentlemen line, not Gentlemen only, it's great fragrances. The re-release, the Eau de Toilette, lovely fresh iris fragrance. I do enjoy that one. And then, of course, there is the Eau de Parfum, which is very, very well beloved, often compared to Dior Homme Intense. And then there's the newer flanker that's all the rave right now, which is Eau de Parfum Boisee. Today, we're going to talk about the similarities, the differences, and which one I recommend you check out if you're just to check out one. Stay tuned. So, Givenchy Gentlemen, the Eau de Parfum. This beautiful black fingerprint magnet is painted on the inside of the glass, so you can see the robustness of the base of the glass. Very, very good atomizer. It puts out quite a bit, but the scent, it's just a beauty. Dare I say, better than what it gets compared to, which is Dior Homme Intense, which, don't get me wrong, in its own right is fantastic. I find that one to be even sweeter than this one, whereas because of the Tolu Balsam and the resins in this one, I find it a bit more creamy and balmy sweet versus this straight up just sweet and leather facet that Dior Homme Intense has, whereas this still has the beautiful iris. I mean, it's listed as orris, but orris is the root of the iris flower. This not being near as waxy or giving as much of that lipstick makeup bag type of smell that the iris in Dior Homme Intense has. Overall, between the two, if I had to pick one, believe it or not, it's Gentlemen EDP. I just feel like it's a bit better. It does project kind of an intimate amount of projection. It's not overbearing, but it's not too close to the skin at the same time. It's kind of what I would consider a seductive type of projection, where it's just enough to grab somebody within a few feet, or has a strong enough trail when you walk by somebody to grab their attention and turn their head. And it is an 8+ hour fragrance. Very seductive, nice, dresses up very well. Great date night scent, which is what I like to use it for. Like I said, 8+ hours, so performance is no slack on this one, and it can be found for a really good price. Now, in regards to the Eau de Parfum Boisee, so this is a bit newer, and it's not night and day different, but I don't find there's any redundancy here. Yes, they're both the iris-based fragrances that you come to know and love from this line, but what's different here, and I gotta spray it to smell it, it's spicy. It's rough and rugged, it's got an edge. The label has changed. You can see there's texture on the label, so they changed the appearance a little bit. It's now a translucent black instead of painted black, so you can kind of see through it and see the juice color, but still can see the robustness of the base of the glass. This still has that sexy date night appeal. Spicy fragrances tend to do that. This in turn is a spicy iris fragrance. If you like iris fragrances, there's not a whole lot of spicy iris fragrances out there, so this kind of fills a void. The difference here, though, is I find this one doesn't perform quite as well. The sweetness is toned completely to where it's almost not even there. I don't even really detect any sweetness. There's some spices that are just ramped up here and kind of replace that balmy, resinous creaminess that this one had. And you have a much more sharp, woody, spicy nature with that iris, where the iris isn't as much in your face as it was in the Eau de Parfum. With the Boisee, it just takes it up to another level, in my opinion. It's a beautiful fragrance, but the performance here is, I'm not going to say lackluster. It's average. It's not as good as the Eau de Parfum that this is flankered from. Whereas it's more in that 6 hour realm, at least for me in my experience, and the projection is still about that intimate setting, like I was saying before, where it's not really out there, but not too close to the skin. It can kind of grab somebody when you walk by. It's good for that. The black pepper in this one really adds that beautiful spice. And I mean, it's one of those that has a bit of uniqueness, but at the same time, it has some familiarities. Like when I smell this one, I think of fragrances like Bulgari Man in Black, because that one has a iris and tuberose in the dry down with some spices up top, a little bit of rum that this one doesn't have, but the cocoa bean is really the only thing that kind of gives you some sweetness out of this one. The black pepper being very, very prominent. You still have that iris and some woody notes in here. I forgot exactly what the woody notes are. This is a tester. Burning wood and sandalwood. So there you go. It's a woody floral spicy, which is one of my favorite classifications, because there's not a lot of really good woody floral spices out there. And if the performance was a bit better, who knows? Let's go with my final thoughts between the two and which one I think you should reach for. So when it comes to the overall smell, because they are quite different for being flankers of one another, it all comes down to taste. Do you like sweet? Do you like spicy? Because take away the creaminess and the woodiness and all that, the main differences is sweet versus spice. Normally, traditionally, I go the route of spice, but here I feel like the well-roundedness of the quality of the scent, the sweet kind of balances out a bit better with the iris. I'm going Gentlmen Eau de Parfum in the overall scent category. Now, in terms of longevity, there is a clear winner here, because like I said, I get around 6 hours with this, whereas I get 8 to 9 with the Eau de Parfum. Here again, the Eau de Parfum is going to get a point. In terms of the projection category, they're actually 1-to-1. I don't find one projects more than the other. It all depends on your setting, your skin chemistry, and so on. But for me, from both of them, I find they project about the same, about arm's length, for in that 2-hour range, where it's not exponential projection, but it's not weak either. So really, it's a tie here. No split point, just nobody gets a point. Settings and uses, I feel they're both geared towards the evenings. They're both geared towards the cooler weather. They both shine in date situations, special events, and evenings out. They're actually good for the same scenarios, even though one's a sweet fragrance and one is a spicy fragrance. They're both floral and woody. That's the main differences, is you got creamy and sweet, you got sharp and spicy. So they kind of do the same job, even though they don't smell the same. But for my money, if you have to pick one, I think the Eau de Parfum is going to be the clear winner here. No knock to Eau de Parfum Boisee. It's a great fragrance. I am glad that I have it. But if I had to pick one, my recommendation is stick with the Eau de Parfum. I still think it's the better fragrance. I think you're getting more bang for your buck here, because you can find them around the same price point, in that high 50s, 60s range, depending on if you find a tester or where you look online. In the 60 some odd dollar range is fair for these fragrances. So the price bracket doesn't change for either one, so that really couldn't factor in, because I find they're kind of in the same price range, give or take a few dollars from one or the other. But for my money, you can't go wrong here. It does outperform it, and I do think the quality of smell is a bit better. Even though it's similar to Dior Homme Intense, I still think it's better overall, because actually I like it more than Dior Homme Intense. So today's winner, GIVENCHY Gentlmen EDP. So that's just my thoughts and feelings on the two, kind of a little battle video, if you will. I was asked by several people on my thoughts between the two, so I figured we'd make a video about it and I would explain my thoughts on the two and which one I would pick if I had to only go with one. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried either one? How many of you have both like I do? It's not redundant. They are not redundant to have both. But if you had to go with one, I gave you my winner. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on either one, you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.